Vicky at Stories with Aldi Books, and I have finally finished a couple books this year. I'm reading South African works in January, so it's been very interesting thus far. I always do themed reading in January, or this is my third year doing it, and I find it a really enriching experience. So just diving right in. The first book I have finished is Kaffir Boy, an autobiography. This is the true story of a young Black youth's coming of age in apartheid South Africa by Mark Mathabane. This book is set, I would say probably 15 years earlier than Trevor Noah's Born a Crime. So it's a very similar storyline with a young boy with a very supportive mother encouraging of education, the father not so much, and same kind of area of the city, the ghetto, as Trevor Noah's story. But this one is, Trevor Noah's story was towards the end of apartheid. I think apartheid phased out when he was 5 or 6. So he went through all of those growing pains with, the change in the political system there. Whereas Kaffir Boy is kind of in the heyday of the high tensions of civil rights. He is a teenager in the Soweto uprising in 1976. And the book actually, during that part, mentions a photo, a very world-renowned photo that comes out during that event that I actually found online, and a video, a documentary that is just so powerful. I will link that below. It's really hard-hitting. So anyway, this book itself. So the first half, I was very hesitant because it's written as a nonfiction autobiography, first person, obviously, but he's between 3 and 9 years old during the first entire half of this story, and it just is very questionable, the detail of his remembrances for that much of the book, at that age is just highly questionable. So I do not doubt the feeling of what's going on in the story and the actual main events. I don't question those at all. But his actual detailed remembrances of them, it just doesn't work. He would have done much better writing the first half as third person from his mother's perspective. But the second half of the book really makes up for that. From about 14 on, it is very, very well done and a very important read. I know, it's nonfiction, so it's not really a plot, but he really effectively in the second half delivers the timing of the information he imparts to you to really shed light on themes of, feminism with his mother and support. And he has a really even-handed portrayal of the roles of religion in the political system, and how important education is, and even sports in his success, and the English language and what that did for him. So yeah, I like I said, the first half is just questionable. His attitudes are back and forth, his direction with that, and the believability of the details and the timeline is just so confusing. But the second half just more than made up for it. I think it was a very, very valuable reading, especially as it was layered on the Trevor Noah Born a Crime historically. And as well, I am reading Mandela's Long Walk to Freedom, which is also an autobiography, much better laid out. This one, he's 9 when the book starts. He's 19 pretty quickly, and now he's, a young adult in his early 20s, pursuing a law degree and working in Johannesburg. So, you could see how he progresses much more quickly through those early years. And this one is set in time much earlier. So he's, in his early 20s during World War I. It's just really interesting historically to think of that. And also, then this one, Mandela is more affluent, so to speak. I mean, affluent is totally not the right word at all. But the contrast between his opportunities in life and Kaffir boys are quite extreme, even though Mandela is not well off by our standards at all. So Mandela's uncle is a tribal chief. His cousin and best friend is, an heir, so to speak, to that system. But it's just really interesting so far. Great contrast with the three novels, Born a Crime, Kaffir Boy, and Long Walk to Freedom. Not novels, sorry, nonfiction reads. But yeah, that's why I like reading concentrated like that once in a while, because just the layering of information really makes it all make sense, and you get this bigger picture. And then the other one that I've finished is White Dog Fell from the Sky by Eleanor Morse. So, the thing that I did get from this is more information about the ANC, which thus far I'm understanding was kind of a civil rights movement in South Africa, and it was forced to go underground. I'm not sure when, but in this novel, I guess it's later on in the timeline. Sorry, it's not a novel, nonfiction. No, this one is a novel, sorry. In this novel, we're actually looking at a man who was forced to flee Botswana, South Africa to Botswana for political reasons, obviously. He is a first-year medical student, and he ends up taking a job as a gardener for a white woman. So that was interesting to get that portion of the historical timeline. However, I have nothing else good to say about this book. I mean, the resolution at the end I did also like fairly well. However, this book was really disappointing because it was basically a really bad romance story using this historical time period and location as the background. So while it was a dual timeline with this gardener and the woman who employs him, it was just, really a handbook for infidelity, which I have no tolerance for. So our one protagonist, he's a great guy. He has high morals. He does, just like fall in insta love with his friend's wife and just moons over her a little bit. Not excessively, but it was there. And on top of everything else with this one, like, kill me now. Yeah, she's married at the beginning of the story, and they've fallen out of love, and yeah. At one point, she actually blames herself for him cheating on her, and I'm like, really? You just wrote that in here, Eleanor. Why? Why did you do that? And obviously she falls for a much older man who is still married, but they're separated, so it's okay. I'm just gonna shut up now. I didn't like it. Okay, I did not like it at all. Oh, I was really, really annoyed. And then, and you know, they had to find themselves, and they were just, their souls were just too large for the confines of society. Yes, and then I'm reading Kate Atkinson's Behind the Scenes at the Museum, which is not South African. This one is from the UK. From my Tower of Doom TBR jar. This is the first one I drew out. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. It's quirky, and I enjoy it's told from the perspective of a young girl, actually a fetus at one point. The opening chapters are from before she's even born, first person perspective. But she's kind of an omniscient character somehow. So, like I said, it's very quirky. I enjoy the writing style. This is my first Kate Atkinson. And I tried to power through last night, but you know, I have to sleep. So I couldn't. I have like, I think, well, 150 pages left, probably. So, yeah. I'll let you know. Right, I got really confused a couple chapters back and didn't know what the heck had happened. So I kind of Googled it, and I probably have spoiled the ending for myself doing that. But it was just so confusing. But yeah, there's a lot of death. And like part of it was during the war, so that's understandable. And you know, bad things happen, but it's just like getting repetitive at this point. So I don't know. If there's a purpose for it in the end, thematically, I don't know. I still, the jury's still out because like I have 150 pages left and I'm enjoying reading it. So there's that. I'll let you know. Anyway, I guess I better go to work. So I'll chat with you soon. Bye.